There was a point where self-improvement was actually making my life worse. I hated myself. I felt like I was never doing enough. And everything I did just proved I still wasn't that guy. I was waking up early, I was tracking everything. I was watching them fake guru influencers on YouTube, trying to build this perfect version of myself. And the whole time I kept telling myself, I'm still not good enough. It didn't matter how much I did. That voice in my head just never shut up. Listen, for a while, self-improvement for me basically meant self-hate. Seriously, every day was asking myself the same questions. Did I wake up early enough? Train hard enough? If the answer was no to even one of those, the whole day just went out the window. It didn't count. Now, at this point, I'd already started the weight loss slash gym journey. And instead of being proud of the progress that I made, it turned into another weapon I could use against myself. It was more of a way to prove to myself that I'm just a piece of shit. And no matter what I did, inside I still felt behind. At the time, I was deep into that hustle culture, monk mode, 5 a.m. routines. If you're not obsessed, you'll stay average type shit. And don't get me wrong, I love some of that stuff. And some of it can be useful. But at 16 or 17, hearing that every single day, it started to switch from I'm trying to grow to I'm not allowed to even be human anymore. Self-improvement started to become a reminder that I was never close to perfection and that I wasn't getting any closer. And then a few months later, A-levels came along and I was trying to juggle revision, degree apprenticeship applications, gym, and all that stuff. It was a tough time, and when exams finished, I didn't turn into this character that I've been trying to build this whole time. I didn't become superhuman. Instead, I just crashed. Summer came and I basically let everything go. I was playing games for hours, eating whatever, still going gym, but on and off, sleeping weird times, watching my routine slip, my physique fade a bit. It hit way harder than it needed to. And from the outside, it looked like a normal teenage summer. A lot of you might have done the same thing. But when you've spent months, even years at that point, trying to become that perfectly optimized self-improvement guy, and you're sat in your room at 2 a.m., controller in hand, and your diet completely in the bin, I tell you, it hits a bit different. There was a part of me that was like, oh, bro, I deserve this. And then you get the other side of me that just says I'm a failure. My version of self-improvement wasn't actually helping me. Some of you might be going through the same exact process. If you've been a victim of self-improvement in the sense that it becomes self-hate, hear this. If every habit you build is based on the idea that you're not there yet, you can't win. Even when you stick to your diet, go to the gym, hit that session, your brain goes, cool, what about tomorrow? What about next week and the next goal? There is no finish line. So let me take you back to that A-level summer. After that summer, I made a decision, and it's gonna sound cliche, it's gonna sound a bit out there, but I stopped trying to become the perfect version of myself. I started focusing on improvement every day instead. You can still be attracted to the idea of being perfect. I mean, I am, but it doesn't have to be the end goal anymore. Small daily changes is what makes the difference. Okay, so it's good saying I stopped having a fixed mindset and I started focusing on growth, but what did I do different? So let me make this clear. Before it was, the perfect morning routine, the perfect gym session, stick to the perfect diet every single day, no matter what. And anything other than that was a failure. I would look at myself in shame at the end of the day saying, oh, you couldn't even stick to your diet. You couldn't even go to the gym. Old me would have said all or nothing, but I say now that something is better than nothing. And then I tried to stop fixing everything at once. You're human. Old me tried to perfect sleep, diet, training, social life, all at the same time. So I kept dropping everything because it's not sustainable. Now I pick one or two main focuses for one season. Right now that might be stay consistent with training, hit my uni deadlines, and everything else is just maintained. Spreading yourself out too thin means you're gonna have so many holes in your life. And the final thing I'm gonna cover in this video is I swapped those perfect goals for simple standards. I used to motivate myself with, you're behind, you're not serious enough. Everyone else is doing more. But trust me, say that every day, long enough, and you actually start to believe it. Now, don't get me wrong, I still have standards for myself, but I've just stopped acting like bullying myself is the only way to grow. If you're watching this right now and you're in that phase where your feed is full of self-improvement, you've built this massive image in your head of who you should be, but day to day you just feel tired, behind, and low-key a bit disappointed in yourself. You're not a failure. And listen, chances are you're probably just human. And if you're on self-improvement already, you've probably built yourself a version similar to mine, where it's built on shame and fear rather than actual growth. What helped me wasn't a new morning routine or something like that. It was more being honest with where I'm actually at and focusing on those tiny improvements that make the change, and realizing it ain't that deep if I fall off for a bit. So listen, if you're burnt out constantly trying to fix yourself, this might be your sign to change how you're going at it. Start with one small thing: a better sleep, 3 gym sessions a week. Just make sure it's realistic, and just make sure you're not being too ambitious just because you're motivated from this video or something else. Whatever you do after this video, remember, self-improvement shouldn't feel like war with yourself every day. Look, with this video, I've given self-improvement quite a bad name now. Honestly, I love self-improvement, but not what it's made out to be on social media. Promises that you buy a course or you read a book and suddenly you change your life are the danger. Stop falling for these little cheap tricks and actually do it out of respect for yourself. Thank you for watching. And genuinely, thank you for being here with me while I figure this out too. I'll see you in the next one.